Hey guys, this is Frozen Things to Use here, and welcome back to another video with the release of Creed 3, which is said to be not only the last film in the Creed trilogy, but also the last film in the franchise. Well, maybe you'll never know if they can make another maybe another spin-off to the Rocky franchise in the future. Who knows? But this is a perfect time for me to rank every single Rocky and Creed movies from worst to best. I love sports. I love sports movies. I love boxing, and the Rocky franchise just might be the greatest sports franchise that ever made. Period. Now, in this ranking video, I'll be making this really quick. I'll only be diving into these Creed and Rocky movies really quick. Mainly because I already reviewed them on my channel, and I don't need to add more. And also, I don't really wanna spend too much time like talking about these movies when I've already I don't want to repeat myself, but yeah, so most of these movies I really like. There's a few of them that I don't really like that much, but yeah. Anyway, I'll only be explaining why I think this installment is in its place, but I won't say too much about my thoughts on the movie unless if I have something additional to say, I'll say it. So yeah, without further ado, here's my ranking of all of them. Just keep watching if you want to see this ranking. Coming at number nine, the worst Rocky movie. I mean, is it even a competition? Rocky Five. Sorry, my bad. Honestly, Rocky Five, it doesn't even deserve to be canon to the Rocky franchise. This movie is an absolute disaster. You've already seen my rant. I said everything that needed to be said. Yeah, this movie is pretty much the worst in everything. It has terrible characters. They literally ruined Rocky's character. It has a terrible training montage, anticlimactic fight scenes, and literally a very dumb storyline with such a dumb idea for a so-called twist villain. I think Tommy Gunn might be the worst twist villain. If you want to call him a twist villain, I think Tommy Gunn might be the worst, or at least one of the worst. Or one of them. I still think the Sugar Plum Fairy from Nutcracker the Four Realms is the worst twist villain in my opinion. But Tommy Gunn is right up there. Coming number eight, the most overrated Rocky movie, Rocky Balboa. Yes, don't get me wrong, this is an improvement from Rocky 5, and I mean, but like for a movie that should redeem the franchise and to kind of wrap up Rocky's arc like of him as a boxer, it didn't really work for me. I thought it was boring and lifeless, bland. I just didn't care. It was like basically the first Rocky if it was boring. And I mean, there's some really good things about it. I mean, Rocky's arc is strong. I'll admit I overpraised the final battle. I think it's just fine, but a little forgettable. Um, but yeah, I just didn't care about this movie. Training montage was good as well. I will admit that the training montage is one of the best parts of this film. Okay, people, now we're getting into the ones that are actually good. The number seven, Rocky 3. I mean, yeah, I mean, Rocky 3, I think the best thing about Rocky 3 to me is that it introduced a very banger song that I still can't stop thinking about, which is Eye of the Tiger. That song is an absolute banger and should have won the Oscars for Best Original Song. I think this movie takes the title of the best opening scene, mainly because the opening montage of playing the entire After Tiger song while showing Rocky's victory. That's like the best opening. One of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. If I were to do a top 10 best scenes in the franchise or top 5, I think I'll definitely put that somewhere there. Love that, love that scene. And but the rest of the movie, it's solid. Yeah, it could have been better. And honestly, Clubber Lang might be the most overrated villain in the Rocky franchise. I hear people say he's one of the best villains, and some people even say he's better than the villains in Creed 1 and 2. I mean, but yeah, this movie is just it's just good, I guess. But honestly, if it wasn't for the Eye of the Tiger song, I would have liked this a bit less. But it is a pretty entertaining movie. It has some really entertaining fights. So that's all I can say. Coming number six is Rocky 2. Now, with this movie, I will admit I did overpraise it. When I said it was just as good as the first film, it's actually not as good, and it's not really a 10 out of 10 worthy movie. There are some flaws, particularly with the pacing, and I mean the pacing is pretty slow. in the beginning, and there were like some boring scenes, but yeah, I want to I was a little manipulated by Rocky versus Creed, the final fight, which I absolutely loved. Yeah, I think I overpraised it because of that. But the more I thought about it, yeah, I think the first one's better. But Rocky 2 is still a really good sequel. And yes, we're getting into the films now that I really like. Yeah, I really enjoy Rocky 2. Really enjoy Rocky too. Yeah, it pretty much takes notes of everything you love about the first Rocky and still maintaining this film. It still has the same qualities as the first film. So yeah, I gotta give credit to Rocky 2 for that. And yeah, and also Apollo Creed that took the spotlight in this, and yeah, he's pretty much the best character in the whole film. So. Coming number five is Rocky 4, my favorite Rocky sequel. Yeah, this is the most important Rocky movie, so that's why I had to put it in top five. Because yeah, this is the most important when it comes to setting up the Creed movies. It's particularly the first two. Creed 3 didn't really have much to do with this one, although but it still sets up the character of Adonis Creed and how he must live up to his father's legacy. That's why I think even if you hate this film, you should admit that this one really is important to bring up, to building up to the Creed movies. Even if I don't think it was planned at the time. Rock Apollo Creed versus Ivan Drago is my favorite fight scene when it comes to the original Rocky franchise. I love that fight scene, and it's just so rewatchable, and it just feels so important to see like how Apollo Creed died, and to see like Ivan Drago like actually trying to like manipulate the audience into thinking that he's weak, but actually he's like one of the most powerful, unstoppable villains ever. And yes, the first 20 minutes was struggle to sit through, but when it came to that scene until the end, it still gained momentum throughout, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. I think people should give Rocky for a chance. Comment number four is pretty much a hot take here that it's not number one or at least number two. Rocky. Yeah, I will say that Rocky is the best in the original Rocky franchise. There's no doubt about it. I mean, this movie. I mean, I pretty much had the least to say about this one. This or Rocky 3 because if you probably saw my review of this film is literally like 9 minutes. It's the shortest review. That's actually because I didn't have much to say, but I mean what else is there to say about this one that hasn't been said? I mean, this movie is an iconic film, probably the best made in the entire franchise. It perfectly sets up Rocky's character. I think Rocky is one of the most iconic characters ever. It focuses on his life, like trying to build his life around boxing and seeing him struggle is really good and I know I'm probably not fan review I make considering like how I made so many misinterpretations of that review, but yeah, I mean, but maybe I was just trying to find some things to say because I didn't want to just say, oh, it's so good, 10 out of 10 like that, like oh, it's so good because everyone says it's good. So I really had to like try to like give it a real explanation, but like what else is there to say that hasn't been said? And yeah, the fight scene is really good and this movie has the best training montage in the entire franchise. Like the training montage is usually the fan favorite scene. So of course they'll include in every installment, and that's like probably the best. This one has the best training montage. You can't beat that one, even if the Creed movies attempted to. And speaking of the Creed movies, yeah, we're getting into the Creed ranking now because I think Creed is better than Rocky. The Creed films are better than the Rocky films. Comedy number three is the first Creed movie. Yeah, another hot take in comedy. I think this is the weakest in the trilogy, and my ranking of these movies are actually hot takes. So yeah, but yeah, Creed is a masterpiece. Don't get me wrong. Even if it's the weakest in the trilogy, it still shows how much I love this trilogy, and I think this trilogy has just joined my top five favorite trilogies of all time. Not sure which spot specifically I got to decide on, and there's definitely some better trilogies out there like Star Wars OG trilogy, Lord of the Rings, and Dark Knight trilogy. Not sure where this one would land, but definitely either five or four. But Creed is a masterpiece because it's just simply a perfect legacy sequel that honors Rocky in the most perfect way, while introducing a perfect character, Adonis Johnson. Ryan Coogler is probably the best, one of the best directors. I think I do have a favorite director, but maybe as a director, when it comes to his career, why Ryan Coogler is the best one. I love his direction, to this franchise. I don't think this movie would have worked if they hired a weaker director than him. Yeah, this movie is fantastic. This movie is fantastic. Okay. And also, this was Rocky at his best. Sylvester Stallone should have won an Oscar. Yeah. Coming number two is the newest installment in the Rocky franchise, Creed 3. Yeah. Creed 3 is probably the most unique and different Creed movie. This is probably the only, like, I mean, the one that stands out, like, this movie, like, there are like some things that this movie stands out from the rest, despite it not being number one. But I love this movie, man. I mean, this is the most entertaining, fast pace in the franchise that doesn't really have a single slow moment. It really, I mean, some people like may criticize this movie for being rushed, but for me, I didn't mind. I mean, it flew by really fast, and I really applauded this movie for doing that. It and Damien Anderson is the best villain this franchise has ever given. There is no competition about that, and this has the best boxing scenes and the most banger soundtrack, and yeah, I don't know what else is. I mean, yeah, probably go check out my review of it in my channel. Like, go check out all my Rocky reviews. That's why I'm trying to like vaguely talk, like, explain it. Even if some of them I actually said a lot, but it came really, really close to being number one. But there's actually just one film that I think is just a bit better. And my number one favorite Rocky movie is Creed 2. Yeah, I know it's a hot take. I mean, but I think this movie is underrated. I mean, I've seen some Rocky movies where like they put this movie at like somewhere near the bottom, and somewhere near the bottom. Like, well, at least we can all agree that this movie is way better than Rocky 5. But come on, people. I don't get why people say, oh, it's not great. It's just fine. It's just all right. I don't get it. I think this movie is absolutely slept on. Like, why the reason why Creed 2 is my favorite Rocky movie is because of just the emotional impact it made, which is something that Creed 3 didn't really have. It didn't really like make me shed a tear. Well, there was one scene that, well, I'm not sure if I would say teared up, but I teared up. I did get emotional. But Creed 2, there's so many scenes that were just so powerful, so compelling, just so beautiful. It made me tear up. I mean, Michael B. Jordan gives the best performance in the career. This was Adonis at his best when, since he was at this lowest life, and he lowest in life when Drago came in to take him down, and he really needed to build himself back up. That is just a brilliant art, and yeah, I mean, there's so many powerful stuff in there, so many powerful messages, so many powerful storylines, and the storylines about redemption and a lot of other things, and facing your fears as well. And this also had the perfect ending to Rocky's storyline. Rocky's storyline, just beautiful. And this and yeah, I wish I saw this movie in theaters. I wish I saw this movie in theaters. I want to go back in time to 2018 to see this masterpiece in the big screen again. So yeah, Creed 2 is my favorite Rocky film of all time. So also for my ranking of the Rocky and Creed movies, what is your ranking, or do you agree with my ranking below? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. I probably might have announced my next video in my community post. Yeah, that was going to be my next video. So yeah, bye guys.